Welcome to the Dad and Cole Football Patrol.
That's right. I am Dad.
And I am Cole.
So, Cole, what's going on in the world of football this weekend?
There are 9 teams that have been starting their rookie training camp, and I'm just going to mention 3 of them.
Yeah, which teams did you want to highlight?
The Browns, the Ravens, and the Jets.
That's right. So I think you're calling attention to these 3 teams because all eyes are on their 3 big rookie draft picks. So let's talk about those quarterbacks a little bit. Tell the folks who we're talking about here.
Lamar Jackson to the Ravens.
Yep.
Sam Darnold to the Jets.
Yep.
And Baker Mayfield to the Browns.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield being the big shock at the number 1 overall pick by the Cleveland Browns. So, Cole, I have a question for you. Out of these 3 quarterbacks for these 3 teams, which, if any, do you think has a shot at starting week 1? Who has the best shot?
I think all of them should.
You do? So not only you think could, you think all 3 should. Tell me why. What's your reasoning?
Because, even though you would say, you would think Joe Flacco would start, the first game, I think Lamar Jackson could, because, he has, really good running position, and, Joe Flacco can't scramble really well.
Well, it's interesting, and I said on one of our last episodes that I think Joe Flacco could be in trouble in losing his job, and I agree with you. I think the Ravens are looking to get some more explosive plays into the offense. I think they're looking to change up and get some athleticism and just some energy and some life to that offense. And I think Lamar Jackson has the potential to do that. Now, what about the other guys? Sam Darnold with the Jets and then Baker Mayfield with the Browns. Do you see either of them having a chance of starting from week 1?
Yeah, but when you say you have Tyrod Taylor and Baker Mayfield, you might want to have a little a compete, and you would think Baker Mayfield would win, and I do too. So
you think if it was just an open competition from day 1 between Taylor and Mayfield, that Mayfield would edge out Taylor? But it's interesting. The Browns are the one case where Hugh Jackson, head coach, is saying Hugh Jackson. Where Hugh Jackson has been saying all along, no, Tyrod Taylor's my guy. He's our starter. I feel like he's trying to take any pressure off of Baker Mayfield. But you think that may not be the right approach. He should be letting those guys compete?
Because, Baker Mayfield, he's, better. He can scramble better.
Well, he's a dynamic player. He can move around. Taylor, though, let's not undersell his potential to get out of the pocket and make dynamic plays. That was really a big part of his game with the Bills as well. Here's the thing. I think that Hugh Jackson's absolutely going to have Tyrod Taylor start. I think they need to get a few wins under their belt. That has been a culture of losing. I think Taylor's more than a competent quarterback. I think he's a dynamic playmaker who can win football games. And I think he had a big part of why the Bills made that push to get into the playoffs and sneak into the playoffs last year. And I just think Jackson and the Browns got to go about trying to get some wins under their belt to turn the culture of losing around there. And I actually think Taylor gives them a great shot of doing that. Now, for Sam Darnold, Cole, let me ask you this. Josh McCown is tabbed to be the starter. They also have Teddy Bridgewater there. But you think Darnold should be starting, or you think he just has a chance that he could end up being the starter week 1?
He has to be the starter. He's the top. In the draft, people were saying he was the top best quarterback.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought he would have been the number 1 pick and were surprised when the Browns went with Mayfield. So a lot of people thought maybe that Darnold was the most ready to play. This is another situation, though, where I think McCown actually did an admirable job last year early on in the season getting some wins for the Jets. I believe he got hurt near the end of the year last year. I could be wrong about that. But I think he's a more than competent guy, and I think maybe they just want to take it easy a little bit with Darnold. However, I'm going to contradict myself in the same breath. The NFL is short on patience, and anymore you see guys like Carson Wentz, Goff getting thrown right into the mix and into the fire and being expected to play right out the gate. And younger guys are having success earlier in the NFL anymore. So I don't know if it's such a sit and wait game for these quarterbacks like it used to be 5, 10 years ago. Cole, what else has been going on in the NFL this weekend?
Mason Rudolph got drafted, and Big Ben, he's not making really nice things.
Yeah, so the Steelers drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round, Mason Rudolph, and Big Ben, I guess, was on a sports call-in show or whatever, and he was making some comments that were not too supportive of this draft pick by the Steelers.
So Ben Roethlisberger's not going to watch this.
Yes, I feel like we've seen this before with like Brett Favre in Green Bay, not really opening his arms and welcoming Aaron Rodgers, saying publicly that he's not there to mentor or coach anybody. And for me personally, I just think that puts out bad vibes for a team. I mean, is Roethlisberger so insecure that he has concerns about Rudolph coming in and taking his job? Frankly, I just think you're being a bigger and better person by putting your arm around the young man and mentoring him, trying to show the ropes. And that's just being a good dude and a good teammate. And I think the other guys on the team would respect him for doing that. So I just think it creates this odd air in the locker room that Ben's, openly kind of dissing the pick of having them draft a quarterback, and I think it just sets a bad tone in the locker room.
Jason Witten is retired.
Yeah, Jason Witten retired, and he's going to be going into the broadcast booth. He's going to become a commentator. So, Cole, let me ask you this. Dez Bryant, released by the Cowboys. Jason Witten retires. What's going on with this offense in Dallas? All of a sudden you look up, it feels like they're in a state of free fall. How do you expect Dak and Ezekiel to be able to pick up the slack? And what do you see from this offense moving forward?
People are saying that like they could get Calvin Ridley, wide receiver from Alabama, but because Dez Bryant got released and but the Falcons took him.
That was someone that the Cowboys were targeting. And yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. So, I mean, you look at this offense now. They signed Allen Hurns, I believe, from the Jaguars. Is that right? Which, again, I think Hurns could be a decent number 2 guy. I don't think he's a dominant number 1 guy. I just don't see where the offense is going to be coming from with this team. I know Ezekiel's a dynamic guy, but I feel like running games can be taken away very easily in the NFL when a team becomes so one-dimensional. I thought Dak struggled last year. He looked like a very average quarterback and even had struggles and made some ill-advised passes at times. So you're talking about a real veteran leader in the locker room and a real class act, as much as it pains me to say as an Eagles fan, and Witten departing. So I just have big question marks about Dallas and the year they're going to have next year.
I think Jason Witten's going to have a golden jacket.
You think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame one of these days? Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, with the longevity, always being on the field, the playmaking, it's interesting. I don't know. To me, he's like maybe a borderline guy. I don't know that he was like a top 1 to 2 tight end in the league for like a 10-year stretch.
He's played for 15 years.
Yeah, no, so you're right. The longevity part is there of the argument.
He's only missed 1 game.
Yeah, no, you're making really good points, Cole. I get it. He definitely was a top-flight guy. But when I think of Hall of Fame, to me, it's got to be the clear-cut number 1 or 2 guy at that position over a sustained amount of time. And when I think of tight ends in the past, like I think of like a Tony Gonzalez.
You think like Rob Gronkowski?
Or a Gronkowski, absolutely. I don't know if Witten is like those guys. I think he was a dynamic leader. I think he was steady as all could be on the field and constantly making a lot of catches and big plays. But I don't know if he had such an impact on the game that he would be a Hall of Fame guy. But that's a very good question you brought up, and that's a good debate.
Please leave a comment. Do you think Jason Witten is a Hall of Famer? And also, hit subscribe.
Yeah, we'd be honored if you guys would hit the subscribe button so we can count on you as an active and engaged member of our football family. And if you have any thoughts on the 3 rookie quarterbacks, on which of those you think could be starting from day 1, please leave a comment with your answer on that as well. We'd love to hear from you. Anything else, Cole?
Nope.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, take care.
See ya.